Hello everyone, in this tutorial we will be talking about renderings, how to create a new rendering, how to organize your renderings in Sitecore XM Cloud, and also we will be talking about rendering parameters and rendering variants. So first we have to log into Sitecore and see our structure. We have two site collections and one main corporate site under our main corporate website site collection, and two sites under microsites site collection. I covered this topic in my separate video where I explained how to configure multi-site plugin to deploy main corporate website to Vercel as one project and all the microsites as a separate project. There are a couple of things that you need to change in microsite plugin to allow you to do this, but in terms of this video and this tutorial, we just need to make sure that we understand our structure, which means that microsites and main corporate website, this is our site collection, which is like a folder where you can create multiple sites. In main corporate website, we have just one site, but under microsite site collection item, we have microsite template and microsite A. So with this configuration, you can treat microsite template as your site with your templates, but without any content. And then you can make this site as shared. And then when you will be creating your final landing pages or microsites, you can then use all the components that you have for microsite template, and you can treat your microsite A as your landing page or microsite with a proper domain and everything configured on both in Sitecore and in Vercel. So under templates, you will see project folder. This folder will be created automatically for you when you will be creating your first site, and also name of your site folder with your site as well. It will be created automatically here. You want to treat these folders, the folders below project, as your site collection folders, because if you have, as we have in our case, multi-site site collection folder, and below that we have a couple of sites, we want to make sure that when we will be sharing our components, they will be available and they will be under one main folder for the whole collection. You can then create pages and components, and you can organize this however you want. However, you will want to put all the components for your main corporate website below this folder, and all the components for your microsite sites below this folder with microsites where we have pages and components. So I created these folders that are at the moment empty, but just to show you the structure. In terms of renderings, we will be using a script that is provided by Sitecore to create a copy of an existing rendering. And to use one of the existing renderings, we have to navigate to renderings, features, and then headless experience accelerator. If we wanted to copy, for example, a promo component, we need to right-click, select scripts, and then clone rendering. In here, we can give it a different name. In terms of parameters, we want to make a copy of original rendering parameters. The same with data source. We are making copy, and we want to, once we specify a new name for this component, we want to put it in our folder. So we have to select and specify the folder where we want to add our rendering. So I've selected renderings project microsites test, and if I click proceed, and it's now done, and I can find all the templates for my rendering under templates project microsite test, and this is the copy of the promo component with folder and rendering parameters templates. And my rendering is under renderings project microsites template, and this is the copy of the promo rendering. So when we are using this script, Sitecore is creating all the necessary templates and items that are needed for this component to work properly. That's why it's recommended to use this script to create new renderings, and then just place it in a correct folder so you can organize your renderings in the way you want it. when you will be creating your first rendering, when you will be copying an existing rendering using that script, Sitecore may complain that some parts are missing, or that the module under settings project for this site is missing. So you can double check if you have this module. If you don't have it with the same name as your project, as you can see, I don't have microsites and main corporate website. So you can create a new headless module from here, and you can give it the same name. If Sitecore is complaining that the module with the same name is already existing, is already under project, even if it's not there, you can give it a different name. That's what I did. I created Sitecore microsite template module. Of course, you can rename it later, but by creating this module, Sitecore will create everything that's needed for that script to run properly, to create all the templates in specific folders. As you can see, there is a lot of places where Sitecore will create folders with the name that you provide here. You can again double check, because you may have already these folders in these layouts, media library, renderings, settings, and all that. But if something is not working, probably this is the place to check and create a new module, rename it, and then you will be able to use that script and create a copy of an existing rendering. So the next thing to cover in this video are styles. So these are options that you can select and choose from rendering parameters. So I will show you in a second what it looks like when you go to rendering parameters. But basically, it's a list of different options that will be sent to the front-end rendering, and the front-end team will be able to use it and style component based on these elements. As you can see under rendering parameters, styling section, you have all the options that you can choose from. You can extend it, you can add additional options if you want to use it as parameters and control it. Control your rendering this way, but also you can extend a normal rendering parameters template and add your custom sections and fields to it. The only thing you need to remember is that with rendering parameters, you need to make sure that you are selecting a correct field type, because some of the field types will send the GUID only. So instead of GUID, you want to, for example, pass a string. So you need to make sure that, for example, if you have a text field, obviously you will then send to the front end just the text. But if you have multi-list, for example, when you are selecting items, Sitecore is storing only IDs of these items, and we will be sending then to the front-end team only these IDs, which is something that we don't want to do. So keep this in mind when you will be creating your rendering parameters templates and additional fields. But of course, you can extend your templates the same way as you do it for normal Sitecore implementations. So apart from styles, we also have variants, and this is a great way of controlling different renderings, different ways of rendering the same data set on the front end. So for example, if you have blog section with like a latest blog posts, from the backend from Sitecore, we are sending a list of articles, and we want to give our content editors an option to select whether we want to display it as like a fixed component with 4 blog posts only, or we want to display it as like a slider with more than 4 elements, more than 4 blog posts. And so we can create 2 variants of this component. The data set is the same, but when they will be adding this to the page, they will be able to select variant A or variant B. You can give it a different name, and then the front-end implementation will dictate how this will be rendered on the website. So to do this, we can find all the variants for our components under presentation and headless variants, and these are components that we have. And if we select one of these. As you can see, we have default one. Default one is the main rendering, so the main variant, and each of these components will contain a default variant. But as you can see here, we have with text, promo with text, and in the file I will show you in a second, we will have also implementation for default and with text. In the experience editor, you will be able to select which variant you want to choose and display. This is drop-down list where you can select default and the other variants that you have for this component. So in Visual Studio, when we go to main corporate website, source, components, and we take a look at promo component implementation, as you can see, we have default implementation and also with text. And these are two variants that we defined in Sitecore. So these names need to match our names in Sitecore, and also the name of this file needs to match also our rendering. I'll show you where to find it. So to find promo component and make sure that the file name is the same, we can go to renderings, and for this one is actually a default one that is under features, page content, and then there's a promo component. This is a promo rendering, and the name of this component needs to match our file name. The only thing to remember about templates that are automatically created by Sitecore when we are creating a rendering that is a copy of an existing rendering using the script that I showed you, is that the name for our data source template and rendering parameters template, these names are exactly the same. So then when you will be creating more complex GraphQL queries, you may want to make sure that you are using the right template, because you are specifying this in your GraphQL query, the template name, but the template name, as you can see, may be exactly the same, and Sitecore may pick the wrong one, and Sitecore may complain that some fields are missing on this template, even if the template will be recognized by Sitecore as a valid name. In this tutorial, we talked about renderings. We created a new rendering. We talked about how to organize our renderings in Sitecore if we have a couple of site collections. And also we talked about rendering parameters and rendering variants, so we can control how our component will be rendered on the website. I hope you found this video useful. Thanks for watching, and I see you in the next one.